more insight on what you think about it. And please, thank you for coming on here.
Thank you very much, Elson. We are first and foremost grateful for your input that
Thank
you have been giving us. The support in the background. A lot of people don't know that you have been giving the MPs a lot of support in the background as an economist. And now it is our turn to look at what there is in the budget in the National Assembly.
Absolutely.
I have to say that I am very disappointed.
Yes.
With $1 trillion and more, I
Mhm.
would have expected a lot more in this budget for specific categories of people.
Absolutely.
You know, in Guyana, like most Caribbean countries and some part of the world, women and girls are considered a special category, a vulnerable group in our population. I would have expected to see some numbers there in
Absolutely.
terms of amounts of money specifically allocated.
Sure.
And why I say this, why was I looking forward for that? Under the APNU AFC government, we were able to lobby with international agencies, specifically the
Yes.
European Union, and we would have been able to garner 1 billion Ghana dollars
Sure.
for a project
Yes.
specifically targeting gender-based violence, the development of our women and girls,
Yes.
specifically targeting women who are abused in various areas, strengthening of our women. $1 billion that the
substantial.
PPP government inherited from us in August of 2020. In 2023, that project was a 3 years project. We have not seen one tangible outcome. We have not received a report in the National Assembly on this project. So, you know, with the ending of a project, you want to see the strength, you want to see the continuation, you want to see some sort of evidence that our women folks are better off.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
we did not see that. Where do you think that leaves us? Worse off. We every day you open the newspapers, another woman is dead because of domestic violence. Already, the government is seeking to hide the statistics on what is really going on, the instances that are reported on rape, on murder. We don't know, because if you go to Bureau of Statistics, they aren't up-to-date figures. If they hide the figures, they can tell a different story. But we in the National Assembly, we will continue to look out for the women in the streets. We will have to now go through in next week and the budget when we examine the estimates.
Absolutely.
And we will have to go through all of the programs to see where our women and girls will benefit.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we have repeatedly stressed that this is not a government that is interested in monitoring and evaluating to determine whether efforts are successful, whether they should be improved, expanded, or adjusted. Rather, the government prefers to hide statistics. We've even expressed concern at the fact that you don't have up-to-date unemployment statistics, which is really another factor that's related to these types of crimes. This is, I think, very tragic. It sadly reflects what you, I think many speakers have mentioned, and what you would have observed in the National Assembly in this particular sitting, where we've seen really terrible insults hurled at women of the opposition, offensive statements. I don't know if you want to comment on the way that the PPP likes to say that they're actually doing something for women, but when it comes to disciplining their MPs who make very offensive remarks, you don't hear anything.
Elson, this is an age-old problem as it relates to the PPP. They have demonstrated every day the disrespect for our women's MP. And sometimes I have to tell you that it's difficult. This is the story that the public doesn't get to see, and they don't get to hear from us because we are covered in the dome. The heckles, sometimes it makes you feel less of a human. The nasty things. All of us would have witnessed what happened to Miss Fernandez during this last week. We've had an instance with the
Yes.
said person from the Minister of Government with Honorable Tabitha Sarabu Haley.
Yeah.
And no less of a person, the Prime Minister of this country,
Yes.
has defended that action. I can say that because I was in the room reviewing the camera with him and I saw the posture he took. Why would you defend a
Absolutely.
male abusing? Well, that
Absolutely.
was physical assault in the case
In that
of
particular
Tabby.
case.
You know, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It just sends the wrong message to the ordinary man in the street. It is okay
Yeah.
to be abusive to
Yeah.
women.
Yeah. It sends the wrong message.
The
Absolutely.
wrong message.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is what we have to contend with. And I have to tell you that I feel more at ease in coming to
Sure.
Parliament this week, knowing that Dharmlal is not
Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
assembly.
Absolutely.
And this, I want our viewers to understand, when you come together, when we come together and we collaborate on any one of the projects, this is a particular instance where we all work together and we got rid of Nigel Dharmlal from the National Assembly. We are safe from the abuse of Nigel Dharmlal in the National Assembly. And I want to say thank you. I've never had the opportunity to say thank you to our support base in Guyana and overseas. We've
Yes,
had
absolutely.
tremendous support in getting rid of Dharmlal. And the same way we worked on getting rid of Nigel Dharmlal, we have to work together to get rid of the PPP government.
Absolutely.
Elson,
Absolutely.
it is a collaborative effort.
Yes.
And our supporters know that we will support them anytime something affects
Yeah.
them.
Absolutely. You know, I would say that one of the things that I think was a signpost that Dharmala was going to go was when he made those remarks to you when he was, I guess you could say, heckling you, which were totally unacceptable. And I don't even want to repeat them here. We've again seen, however, that the PPP has continued with these types of remarks to different women MPs, which shows that Dharmal may be gone, but the attitude is not gone.
But in addition to that, we saw, I think it was Wednesday evening,
Yes.
another male parliamentarian on the PPP side, no other person than Faisal Jafar Ali, the member of parliament for Region 5, used his opportunity when he was speaking to say that the abuser in the form of Nigel Dharmlal will return to the National Assembly. I mean,
jeez,
what else can happen?
Yeah.
In his mind,
Yeah.
this guy did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my opinion, he needs help.
Mhm.
Because if you cannot see that he's being an abuser and that is wrong, then you ought not being a parliamentarian. What example are you setting for your constituents?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think these are really concerning developments to see, and to me, it reflects why you're not seeing a serious thrust to deal with gender-based violence across Ghana. It's not a priority for the PPP because PPP doesn't seem to have internalized that this is a serious issue that needs to be addressed, even amongst their own ranks.
There's a history, Elson. Remember Barry Ramsaran, the slip and
strip you down,
and slap. That's what he said to a female activist. Then Anil Nandalal on the other side, the REO in Region 9.
Sharon, that's when he was an ambassador.
Exactly. It is something that is innate in the PPP. I don't know if it's a qualification to be a member of the PPP, but they're just abusive and they bring that to the National Assembly. But I have to say that the female members of parliament in the opposition, we are strong women and we will stand up every single time because our support base is strong and they support us, and so we will always represent them. Also, the other issue that I wanted to talk about, apart from abuse of women and girls, I wanted to talk about our children.
Absolutely.
I mentioned, I think it's just briefly, but I want to emphasize it now. that the cases of child abuse in this country
Mm-hmm.
is beyond what we can comprehend.
Mm.
In Region 3, I could not be
Yes.
so specific in my presentation, but in Region 3, I had a meeting in Stortville.
Mm.
A group of persons invited me to go.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a relative there
Mm-hmm.
to a child that was abused. And so they were exposed
Mm-hmm.
to the situations in the region. Over 3,000 child abuse cases
Mm-hmm.
reported between
Wow.
2022 and 2023 in one region.
Absolutely. That's
In
crazy.
one region. And that situation caused me to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the human resource,
Mm-hmm.
the technical skills to
Absolutely.
deal with it, because money alone will
Mm-hmm.
not fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have people
Mm-hmm.
to kind of lead the way in how this matter is going to
Absolutely.
be fixed. And what I uncovered from that investigation is that the situations are so terrible at work under
Mm.
the Minister of Human Services that the qualified people are leaving.
Mm.
And I highlighted in my presentation, Region 1 has 3 sub-districts,
Mm-hmm.
and only in Port Kaituma there is one child protection officer.
I see. I see.
And I always say to them that we will go to the regions, we will go underground, we will talk to the people, we
Mm-hmm.
will report on what the people said. I went to Kokwani, and that was one of the complaints.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no child protection officer, no probation officer.
Mm.
When services of
Yes.
payment has to be made in that sub district,
Sure.
one person from Linda will go into Kokwani, hand out the
Yeah.
pension book, talk to the
Yeah.
people in half a day.
Mm.
So nobody is taking the reports, nobody is addressing the issue of dropout from
Yeah.
schools and,
Yeah.
what is really
Yeah.
causing the
Absolutely. Just
children.
ticking a box and calling it.
No,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
is being done. And you want to ask the question, who really cares about these people?
Absolutely.
They're
Absolutely.
not receiving anything from this government. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
Yeah.
They are surviving by the will of God.
Mm.
We went to barometer.
Mm-hmm.
Elson, we know the issue of barometer a long time now. The coalition government examined the matter. There was a really in-depth report on
Mm-hmm.
the social issues in barometer. And what we did was set up a ministerial task force,
Mm-hmm.
because you had to deal with indigenous, it is an indigenous
Sure.
community. So they were involved. It was a matter of the church taking a particular stance on the issue of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
We had children at the age of 9 committing suicide in barometer.
Jeez.
You
Yes.
have
Awful.
alcohol abuse. You have
Yeah.
domestic violence.
Absolutely.
And so we had the Ministry of Education, Department of Social Cohesion,
Yeah.
Indigenous Affairs, a multifaceted
Mm-hmm.
approach to
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the matter in barometer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Today, there is nobody there.
Yes.
They have disbanded the
Yes.
ministerial task force, and so nothing is happening for the people in barometer, and that is Region 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely awful to hear that.
Could we not do something
Yes.
because we care?
Yes. 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 Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, we have previously committed within the coalition that when in office, we will hire people to help the government to more effectively administer services, provide better quality services.
Absolutely.
I think this is clearly an example of one of those circumstances where we would be providing human resources to deal with these types of serious and concerning issues. Additionally, the question of poverty in a lot of these communities, I think, is very much related to alcohol abuse, substance abuse. We have mentioned several anti-poverty policies, and we've indicated that no Guyanese will be earning less than $150,000 per person, and that really we are going to be providing various initiatives such as raising the tax threshold so that people can earn more, such as salary top-ups to bring people up who have lower salaries. These are all vital, and these are all policies that will help the work of our social workers in terms of helping them to solve these types of issues. Really, I'm glad we got a chance to sit down. These are some really powerful points and interesting and important issues that have been raised. And so I want to say thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you going in the future.
Thank you so very much.
All right, Guyana, you've just heard from another MP as we continue our coverage of Budget 2024. Really some alarming things we are seeing. An attitude reflected across the government. So stay tuned. We'll be here with another MP in a little bit.